Look, the regular season is right here. We got just a couple of days, just a couple. I think we're at a few right now. Just a few more sleeps before the regular season happens, and I'm very excited to get this preview underway. You know, the Ravens, they facing the Kansas City Chiefs, a familiar foe that always just happen to have the Ravens number. And I got a very special guest today, and I'm very excited, man, to kick off this new regime of the Be More Show. And I'm gonna bring in my good buddy here just in 1 second. I'm gonna let y'all get y'all's popcorn, let y'all get y'all's drink. All right, I'm gonna let y'all get ready, get suited in as we get ready for this Kansas City Baltimore Ravens preview, maybe a little season preview on the tail end. We'll see about that one. But this is the Be More Show. All right, I told y'all I had a very special guest, very special guest. Me and this guy have been friends for far too long. All right, far too long. But anyway, we're talking about this NFL season specifically. We got this week one matchup. It's the Baltimore Ravens. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm your host, DJ B, and I'm back once again. And I got my boy Justin from the For the Kingdom podcast, the True JSB Juggernaut 097. He got all the names. Because you can find them everywhere. Everywhere where you find the Be More Show, or formerly known as Fly Nation Speaks, you can find this guy as well. But we're gonna get into this preview. We're gonna talk about it real quick. Justin, introduce yourself to everybody and let them know about this For the Kingdom podcast. What you got going on over there?
Yeah, so I am Juggernaut097 I'm from the Juggernaut show, which mainly I do wrestling content. I mean, we do wrestling content on our channels, but I'm a diehard Kansas City Chiefs fan, if you can't tell. I mean, if you couldn't tell what my favorite team is,
What?
I'm a Chiefs fan. What? No, I'm just wearing this team, I'm just wearing this hat for nothing. I got that back there for nothing. No, but yeah, diehard Chiefs fan. I finally, after I've been talking about it for months, I said, I'm going to be starting the For the Kingdom podcast. And you know what? I got my logos, got everything going, got an intro, got everything around for it. And
I
now,
even heard he sings a little bit in the intro, so make sure y'all check that out.
yeah, you might need to plug your ears for that one because you don't want to hear me singing. Yeah, we got For the Kingdom podcast. I just did episode 1, so you guys can go over to Juggernaut097 on there, and you guys can go check out my preview. But yeah, For the Kingdom podcast, definitely go subscribe.
All right, let's jump into this Ravens Chiefs feel that we got going on. All right, first things first, I do want to I want to start off with, just because it's kind of a season preview within a game preview, but I know at least for the Ravens, the offensive line has been a big question, right? The offensive line has been a big question because you shipped off or got rid of 3 of your 5 starting offensive linemen from last year, so that leaves a lot of question marks. Of course, we saw that in the preseason. We saw what that means in the preseason. We saw what it could mean for Lamar Jackson, what it could mean for Derrick Henry, what it could mean for this offensive line as a unit. We haven't seen them play as a unit because, of course, Ronnie Stanley has not been in these games. Tyler Linderbaum has not been in these games. But then I think especially on week 1, we'll see the full array of this offense. And, the first depth chart was released by the Ravens PR team. And I want to mention it real quick since that was a topic of conversation. And the first depth chart does say Ronnie Stanley at left tackle, of course. Andrew Voorhees at left guard, Tyler Linderbaum at center, Daniel Faalele at right guard. And I'm pretty sure Patrick McCarry, for the time being, has the start over the rookie Roger Rosengarten. I'm looking at an outdated one, but I did hear that today. So Patrick McCarry, kind of a Swiss Army knife type guy, played a bunch of different positions, never really got a chance to truly start. Maybe that's because of what they think his ceiling may be. Maybe his ceiling is not a starter in this league. Who knows? But I think he is a little frustrated. He wants to play. But I'm very excited to see what this offensive line looks like, especially with Ronnie and especially with Tyler Linderbaum coming in as the guys who are the mainstay guys, right? The guys who were there last year. And I that was the biggest question coming in. I think a lot of people were wondering about, a guy like Trenton Simpson. What was he going to do? I think he showed in the preseason, how well he can be. A lot of guys was wondering, at least in the Ravens flock aspect of it. We were wondering about the secondary, and I think the secondary has found itself a little bit more as we go along as well. But I think the biggest question mark, was the offensive line. Justin, did the Chiefs have any big question marks, any glaring issues that all of the Chiefs Kingdom was talking about, and they were like, hey, like, this is got to be fixed before the start of the season?
I would say, our big losses here would be like losing L'Jarius Sneed, losing him. Like our cornerbacks are like our big question mark right now, like our secondary right there. But I think that's really our only big problem, that I know of. And also, kind of figuring out like who that number one wide receiver is going to be, and how Travis Kelce is going to do this season, because he's all with that Taylor Swift and all that. So those are kind of some like big question marks going into the season. But yeah.
Well, and I think too, when you look at this team, like when you look at the depth chart, they brought back Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, we brought back Juju. Yep.
You grab Xavier Worthy in the first round, so you're looking for that guy. You're looking for that number one guy. I mean, what you got in Rashee Rice, but of course he had some off the field issues in the offseason, so there's a little bit of drama. You wonder if his head's going to be in it in week one. Is he going to be truly ready? But I mean, I think in to add in Hollywood Brown as well, a guy I know very well. It's one of those situations where I think this wide receiver core, honestly, I think they're better than last year was. I don't know how you feel about it, but Juju Smith-Schuster, we've seen what he can do, but I think it's good for him to have possibly a lesser role, because if he has a lesser role, I always feel like, especially as players get older, and he's not that old, but as he gets older, it does help to have a lesser role, because, when you play that six man, but you've been a star before, you still got star potential. You just may not have star potential every single snap. So I think that I don't know. I'm curious to see what you think too. Do you think this wide receiver core is better than it was a year ago?
Yeah, I actually do think it's better, because I didn't even realize we did bring back Juju. Well, because he was playing for the Patriots, and then we ended up releasing him, and we ended up picking him back up. So that's a good thing. And also maybe that might, with not knowing who that number one guy is, we could spread around Patrick could spread around the ball more. And also Xavier Worthy, I mean, he's fast. Like he ran what did he run in the combine, like a 4.1? Like that's like one of the fastest
he has
times.
like record breaking speed almost. And I mean, it's funny, I felt the same way about Hollywood in years past too. I'm like, like the speed you guys are gonna have, like, of course, to lose Tyreek Hill a couple years ago, like, that is record breaking speed, right? That's back breaking speed, like that's in the game breaking speed. I mean, the Ravens know that far too well. But to bring in Hollywood Brown, to bring in Xavier Worthy, and Rashee Rice has shown that he can be really good too. And of course, Travis Kelce's still there until he's not there anymore, even with the Taylor Swift stuff. So, it's just one of those things. I think the thing about it is, when you think about this defense, you're worried about the secondary. You're worried about missing out on L'Jarius Sneed. I mean, you still got Trent McDuffie,
Yep.
Ozzie Johnson. Like, I mean, I think the Chiefs secondary is going to be very similar to the Ravens wide receiving core over the past couple of years, where it's like, it's not that the talent isn't there. They just going to have to prove that they are as talented as we think they are, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing.
And as the season goes on for the Chiefs, I mean, usually early on in the season for us, our defense isn't that good. But later on, when you get into December, January, that's when our defense, we start to tighten it up more. Because if you go look back to last year in the playoffs, like we're the reason why the defense is the reason why the Chiefs won a lot of those games, is because of our defense.
Yeah, that's
like if we didn't have that defense last year, I didn't think we probably wouldn't even made it that far in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Let's jump into kind of our game expectations. Justin, how are you feeling going into this week one matchup against the Ravens? I think I think it's one of those things where a lot of people feel like this is a rivalry, and unfortunately, at least for me, the Chiefs have time and time again proven that it's not, and they're not leaps and bounds, but they're at least a little bit above where the Ravens want to be. So how are you feeling going into this week 1 matchup? I know it's still a tough matchup for the Chiefs, but still it's one of those things where for whatever reason the Ravens, and we've talked about this for years now, right? Like the Ravens for whatever reason just don't play their game against the Chiefs. And I hope that's different this year. Even in the regular season, I remember there was a time where the Ravens could not beat the Chiefs. That was a big thing. They couldn't beat the Chiefs, right? And they finally did, but still, it's like it took Odafe Oweh stripping. I don't remember who. I think it was Clyde Edwards-Helaire in that game and winning the game on the defensive end. So it's just like, I'm curious to your expectations of how this is going to go.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say this right now. This is gonna be an ugly game. Okay, I think it's gonna be like within at least 7 points, or it could be even a field goal, because that boy, you're that Justin Tucker over there. I mean, he could win it for you guys, or even over here with like Harrison Butker. I mean, he could win it for us. I mean, it can come down to a field goal. Like I feel like this is gonna be a tight game.
I think too. And just to butt in real quick, I feel like this is going to be one of those games where it's like, I think whoever makes the first mistake will lose, because both of these teams, for the most part, are pretty clean. Like they don't make a lot of mistakes. The Ravens don't make a lot of mistakes, and a lot of that's because of the way they play the game. But when they do, it ends up biting them in the butt. It feels like, and the Chiefs rarely ever make mistakes. So it's really gonna be one of those things, and who can capitalize on them, because it might be one of those games where it's like, when I say you don't make a lot of mistakes, it might not be 1-1, it might be 2-2, it might be 2-1, but it's gonna be what you can do off of those mistakes as well. We know the Ravens defense is elite, but when you play elite teams, sometimes even the best can get beat by a better offense. So
yeah. So it's definitely gonna be an interesting game. I mean Lamar Jackson, and who's it? Tom Munkin over there. This is this second season, working with Lamar Jackson. So I feel like the chemistry is gonna be, really, you guys are building off that chemistry more. So that's gonna be good. Zach Orr, this is his first season, being defensive coordinator. So it's gonna be interesting to see the schemes that they run up against the Chiefs. Here, on Thursday Night Football, big primetime game. So that's gonna be interesting. Also, you guys have Derrick Henry. I mean, shoot. I mean, I would hate to be defending against Derrick Henry. I mean, you can either you got this like threat here. You can either give it to Derrick Henry, or heck, you can do a read option with Lamar Jackson. I mean, there's just so many different threats that the Ravens have here, which is going to be dangerous.
And I mean, it's interesting too. Like, Derrick Henry has had some good games against the Chiefs. Because of the Chiefs' run defense. Last year, that was the whole thing. On one hand, shout out to the Chiefs for capitalizing on the fact that the Ravens wouldn't run the ball, but that was a big issue last year in the game. Is like, why are you not running the ball against the defense that's shown that you can run the ball against him? Literally in the first quarter, they showed that you can run the ball against him, and Derrick Henry wants to continue what he's done against the Chiefs in the past, right? Like he's shown that the Chiefs' run defense may not be the best, even though the Chiefs are pretty good. He's shown like what he can do. I mean, I'm reading something now that he rushes for 6 yards, almost 7 yards a carry on the Chiefs. So it's like it's one of those things where it's like you're gonna have to lean on him. And I think previously, with like a Gus Edwards, a guy who wasn't getting paid as much as a guy like Derrick Henry, you might would have said, I don't know. I'm not, I don't know if I trust him in this situation. But Derrick Henry is that guy, right? First ballot Hall of Famer. A guy who has been in the MVP conversation time and time again because of how good he has been in a passing league. So I think that's going to be a big thing too. Is like what like you said, you brought up Derrick Henry. What can Derrick Henry continue that dominance? Because a lot of this is just what I've been hearing. It's kind of it's an up and down type situation with Derrick Henry. It's like, is Derrick Henry done? Like, is this like kind of his last hurrah? Does he have enough left in the tank to give the Ravens what they need at the running back position, or has he been ran into the ground because he's been that guy for Tennessee for his entire career? And that's the biggest thing I think coming into it. I do want to follow up too. Like, I will be interested to see who emerges as the second guy to Zay Flowers for the Ravens, because no Odell, so you don't have your star guy where it's like, okay, we got to defend Odell until Odell proves us that he's not Odell anymore. You got Bateman, who just got paid in the offseason. You got Nelson Aguilar. You got Tylan Wallace, he might be in there a little bit. Tez Walker might play a little bit, but you don't, outside of Zay Flowers, I don't know if you have that consistent guy yet. Like I said, I hope it's Rashad Bateman. I want it to be Rashad Bateman. I'm banking on it. I'm going to go on the hill. I'm going to say Rashad Bateman is that guy, and I might die on that hill, but that's just how it's going to be, because he's got to be that guy. Right? He's got to be that guy. If not, this was all a waste. He got his opportunity after Hollywood Brown left to be the number one guy. He never showed that he could be the number one guy, more so because of injuries. This year, this is his moment, because everybody's going to be looking at Zay Flowers. Everybody's going to be looking at Mark Andrews. I'm not saying nobody's going to be looking at Rashad Bateman, but Rashad Bateman is not going to have as many eyes on him as he's had in the past, right? Because they know Zay Flowers will beat you. They know, unless he fumbles, in the end zone, right? Like, other than that, like, that's going to be the only way he does. Like, L'Jarius Sneed, which he's not going to be on the other side this time. So, got you on that one, Justin. But it's just, it's one of those things. He's got to prove that he's that guy. I trust Nelson Aguilar, but I expect Tylan Wallace or Tez Walker to prove why they're still around. Nelson Aguilar is a guy who's gonna be that veteran presence in the locker room. But if Tez Walker or Tylan Wallace don't show up, I'm a little concerned for this wide receiver room myself. I do trust Nelly, but I don't know if I'm gonna trust him, down in and down out, especially since another thing that I was hearing too, especially since Todd Monken wants to run more 5 wide receivers out on the field. So that's gonna be another part of it too. So I mean, What do you think? What would be the biggest mistake, Justin, that you feel like the Chiefs can make in this game that would cost them?
I would say it's I don't know, probably them being too aggressive, like with their Chris Jones. Maybe he misses a tackle or something, because like if you miss something on Lamar Jackson, oh man, you ain't gonna be seeing him for days. I mean,
and this skinny Lamar, okay, this is slim and trim Lamar, all right, because he about to have a rushing touchdown not tomorrow, but Thursday, right? He gonna have a rushing touchdown, but like, he's slimmed down so he can get a couple more yards afterwards instead of getting caught from behind. I remember that play from the playoff game too, where he got caught from behind. He was frustrated about it. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I agree. I can see that. I can see that. I don't know. I mean, what else? What else you think?
Like I said, our corners, that's a big thing. But I believe in Trent McDuffie. I believe in him. Okay, just like I believe in Joe Hendry. But Trent McDuffie. I think he needs to. The corners are going to need to play good, because, like I said, you guys have a really good wide receiving core. Like it's very interesting. Zay Flowers, we're gonna have to lock down on him. You mentioned Zay Flowers earlier. We're gonna have to lock down on him. Also, our running back situation is definitely gonna be interesting. I mean, our number one, of course, is Isaiah Pacheco, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire, it's definitely gonna be interesting how he plays a role. And our O-line, we brought back all of our coaches, so that's a good thing. We brought back Spags, he's still here with us, so that's a good thing. Andy Reid, he's going to be scheming up a lot of things for Patty Mahomes. So it's definitely going to be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm very excited, man. I feel like for the Ravens, they got to just, I think as Ravens fans, I think we can't get too bogged down by a slow start. Like, I don't think the Ravens should start slow. I don't, I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but I'm hoping they can find their rhythm because the thing about it is the Chiefs, I mean, I don't know how much they played in the second and third preseason game, but I know in the first preseason game they played us, a possession or two. And the Ravens didn't play at all in the preseason, so that could mess around too. With
I believe our starters played the whole third preseason game. I believe.
Oh, really?
So. I
Okay.
believe so.
I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, the difference is the Ravens didn't do that, right? The Ravens didn't play at all. Like, there's at least the offensive starters. Like, when you talk about Lamar Jackson, you talk about Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, right? Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews, like those guys. Ronnie Stanley, Tyler Linderbaum. None of those guys played in the preseason at all. And some of that's been, the injuries that's been going on with the Ravens in the preseason over the past couple of years. But at the same time, I would not be surprised if the Ravens start a little slow, if they come out a little sluggish. Now, I hope that if they were to come out a little sluggish, that it would be more so they had to work for a touchdown, right? Like, not that they came out sluggish and just went 3 and out. Like, they had a couple of plays. I mean, maybe even if they end up punting, they got, to the 50, they got to the, 45 or something like that, where it's like, you still showed like, okay, we can move the ball. We just got to do a couple things here and there. We got to get this cohesion back how we want it to be. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing. I think for the Ravens, I think the biggest thing for the Ravens is you can't start slow, not against the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs have shown time and time again that they're not going to let you start slow. I know Hollywood is not playing against the Ravens in this particular game, but still, you got to start fast, right? You got to start fast. You got to be worried about even these unproven guys. You don't know what Xavier Worthy's going to do yet, but what Rashid Rice is going to do. You're not sure about what Juju Smith-Schuster may do or Sky Moore may do, but you got to be worried about those guys. Mecole Hardman, who's been there for a while, right? You got to be worried about these guys and see what exactly they're going to do. And I think that is, the most exciting part about it. And I think that's the funnest part about week one, with all these changes, and the how crazy the offseason can be from time to time. You get a chance to see some new faces in new places, and that's always fun too. And it lets you don't know what to expect, right? You have no idea what to expect going in season to season, and that's what makes it so fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, and also, it's like, week one, it's just trying to figure out that chemistry because, like, I don't think like we're gonna, you're not gonna have that chemistry week one off the bat. You know what I mean? Because there's gonna be mistakes that are made, and like you said, DJ, I think it's like the first team that makes a big mistake will probably lose the game. I believe that's what's going to happen. Xavier Worthy, hopefully, he can get a big break on someone, Patrick Mahomes, and he throws a bomb down the field or something to him, gets a tutty off of that, because he's really fast out there. So I don't know. Maybe
and it'll be interesting too to see who they line up on him, right? Like, you got Nate Wiggins. You got the kind of the core of Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, and Brandon Stevens, and I would not be surprised if Nate Wiggins finds himself on Xavier Worthy because I feel like Nate Wiggins would be the faster of the three. Because he's obviously the youngest, but I feel like he would be, kind of the faster of the three. Another matchup I'm interested to see too is once again Kyle Hamilton and Travis Kelce, right? We saw Kyle Hamilton versus Travis Kelce last time, and Kyle Hamilton had some plays here, but he had, he gave us some stuff as well. So it's definitely gonna be interesting. Once again, the pass rush too. Patrick Mahomes is so good at not taking sacks, right? He's so good at not getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage and getting the ball out by any means necessary. Whether that's no look behind the back, it doesn't matter, right? Like he's gonna find a way to get the ball out, and that's another thing too. Like if you like, I would love to see this defense and this Zach Orr led defense. I would love to see them make Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable for once, because there's not very many games in Patrick Mahomes' arsenal and in that film room where he looked uncomfortable, right? Maybe against the Bucks. That was one of them in the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
And
but there's not a lot. Yeah, I mean against the Bengals in the AFC Championship game, like, but there's not a lot, right? I mean, I think it's a copycat league and mirror that.
We should still shouldn't have lost that game. I still don't know how we lost to that. I don't know how we lost to the Bengals. We should have went to the Super Bowl that year, but hey, that's in the past.
I
Bring it up.
think I
Bring
think
it up.
I'm not good at score predictions, so don't hold me to this. But I think I think the Ravens will. I think the Ravens win. All right, obviously, of course, but I think they win by a touchdown, game-winning touchdown, something crazy like that, right? Game-winning touchdown, not a touchdown. I think they win by like 4. Let's go with that. They win by 4, right? They're down by 3. They got to make a game-winning drive. They win by 4. What you think, Justin?
I think it's gonna be the Chiefs are gonna win. Obviously, I think that's what's gonna happen. I mean, because they have to come in the Arrowhead Stadium. They have to come in the Arrowhead. You're just saying, okay, so we beat you guys back in January, okay? Back in the AFC Championship, coming into M&T Bank Stadium, okay?
Okay.
But now you have to come in the Arrowhead. It's gonna be rocking in there. You're gonna be people gonna be doing the Arrowhead shopping. They're gonna be doing all that. It's gonna be loud in there, okay?
Y'all gonna be too worried about getting y'all's blingage. All right, y'all blingage gonna be in the in the way. That's what it's gonna be. Y'all gonna be distracted.
Yeah, we're gonna be unveiling the new Super Bowl banner. All that. I think it's gonna be. I think we're gonna win by a field goal. I think that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna come down to Harrison Butker. I think that it's gonna be like 20-17.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that's how it's gonna go down.
Okay, let's. We always like to do this, especially when me and Justin get together. Let's talk about the division, right? Not only the Chiefs and Ravens division, but everybody else too, just for kicks and giggles, just for a little fun. So, since you're the guest, we'll start out with the good old Chiefs. All right, we'll start off with the good old Chiefs. Y'all gonna have to ignore good old Queen Latifah here, but I'm gonna bring it up so y'all can keep up with us. But let's pull this up real quick. So, of course, you got the Broncos, you got the Chiefs, you got the Raiders, you got the Chargers, right? And the Chargers, kind of new look Chargers. They got Jim Harbaugh over there. They've gotten rid of every receiver they possibly could find. The Raiders got a new head coach, but it just depends on if they can kind of ride that wave that they rode last year a little bit. The Chiefs, we've already talked about them at length before. They're probably as advertised. And then the Broncos with Bo Nix. It seems like a one-team race right now, and not because the other teams aren't necessarily good. It's more so. You got Denver that's young. You got the Chargers who look like they're in the middle of a rebuild. And then, you got the Raiders who are riding away from last year. It just depends on if they can make it work, right? So, I think based off of that, I think the Chiefs, I would go with the Chiefs in first. I would go with, I'm going to go with the Raiders in second, the Chargers, then the Broncos. Just because I think the Chargers are glorified. They're glorified rebuild right now, really, more than anything. What do you think, Justin?
So I'm gonna go with my Chiefs number one. They're gonna end up winning the division. Then I would have to say I have to agree with the Raiders coming in second. Like I said, they're kind of going off a wave of momentum from last year. And then I would say the Broncos in third, and Chargers last.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I'm gonna put it.
I'm gonna jump up to the AFC North, just to have a little fun with that one. So of course, I think the Ravens win the division. I think I don't know the Steelers intrigue me because the Steelers with Russ. It's just intriguing to me. It's very intriguing to see what that's going to be. It's very very intriguing to see how Mike Tomlin can coach him up. And same thing with Justin Fields.
But they say who they're going to be starting. Is it going to be Justin Fields or is it going to be Russ?
Yeah, it's gonna be Russ. It'll just be interesting to see their relationship, how they their coach player combination. I think the Steelers always somehow stay afloat. but I think it's going to be another bad season for the Steelers. I think the Steelers come in last. I think we swapped the Browns and the Bengals, and that's how it goes. I think the Bengals got a lot going on. I think with Jamar Chase wanting a new contract, T. Higgins wanting to stay around, they got a lot going on. No Joe Mixon this year. I feel like they replaced him though, but no Joe Mixon this year. It just makes you wonder what they have, and it's possible that Jamar Chase doesn't even play week 1, and that's another part of it too. Like, I know they got Zach Moss, but I don't know. I don't see. Yeah, it's Zach Moss, Chase Brown, and Trevion Williams. I think that if that doesn't hurt what the Bengals are doing, I don't know what will. Like, considering Jamar Chase wants a new contract and they're not giving it to him right now, and I think losing Joe Mixon is a bigger deal than anybody's ever going to say. So that's how I feel about that one. So I'm going Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Steelers. What do you think, Justin?
I would have to agree with you there. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, Ravens, Browns, Bengals, and Steelers. Yeah, that's how I'm going to go with that as well.
Okay. Let's jump down here to the South. Speaking of Joe Mixon, his new team, the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud looking to run it back almost, right? Like looking to show that they are who we think they are. The Colts, looking to bounce back too with Anthony Richardson being back, and we'll see how that goes. The Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Tennessee Titans. I think the Tennessee Titans stay just where they are in last place. I just think they don't have enough. I think losing Derrick Henry was a lot of what was keeping them afloat last year, and I think losing him is going to be big. There's no offense to Tajay Spears, but Derrick Henry is one of one. So I think losing him is going to be difficult for them, and it's going to be hard for them to find where their rebuild is, at least for this season. And then I'm gonna keep it just as it is. I think the Texans win the division. I think the Colts come in second. I think Jacksonville comes in third. Just because I don't know, Jacksonville has shown time and time again that they can't get out of their own way either, and I think that's going to be a problem for them. If they continue to do what they've always done, then that's going to be a problem for them. And Jacksonville has shown over and over and over again that they can't get out of their own way, unfortunately. So
Jacksonville's going to continue to do con things. If you know
that's true. That's true. What do you think, Justin?
The way it looks on the screen, I think that's how this division is going to go. And yeah, and I don't mean all disrespect to Cassie here or to Chase. Texans are going to win the division. Yeah.
Okay. And then to round out the AFC, we got the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, the New England Patriots, and the New York Jets. I think these are in the order in which it played out last year, maybe.
Yeah, this is the Jets won last. Yeah.
I don't think they're all like that. I think I don't know. I can't tell. Anyway, I think, I've been saying this for a little bit of time, and a lot of people tout it as Bills hate, but the Bills are not who we thought they were, okay? They're still not who we thought they were, and they're not going to be who we thought they were this year either. They lost Stephon Diggs, they lost Gabe Davis, and that's what they were complaining about all last year is they didn't have enough freaking talent to begin with. I think they're going to rely on their tight ends to do pretty much everything, but my concern is I don't think it's going to be enough. I think the Bills are going to be terrible.
I'm concerned about Josh Allen because I think they're going to do way too much with him.
Probably. And it hurts him because he's turnover prone, right? Yeah. Like he's one of the guys with the most turnovers in the league since he came into the league. So it's one of those situations where it's going to be hard for him to put the team on his back when it feels like they took half the team away. So I think the Bills and the Patriots are going to be fighting for last place because the Patriots are going to sit here and start Jacoby Brissett instead of Drake May, which I think is crazy.
That's wild.
I don't feel like you got anything to lose to start Drake May, considering you're probably going to lose anyway. But They can go fight for the bottom spot. I think eventually when it's all said and done, I think the Bills finish last in the division. I think the Patriots finish third. I think the Miami Dolphins finish second. I think the Jets finish first. I think as long as Aaron Rodgers is a New York Jet and healthy and on the field, the New York Jets are going to be good. You know, it depends on how they go past that, but the New York Jets are going to be good. Aaron Rodgers has consistently been good his entire career. You know, outside of the years he's been injured, right? Like that's the only times his team hasn't made the playoffs. That's probably some of the only times his team hasn't made the conference championship game. So the Jets are going to be tough throughout the whole year for every single body. So that's another tough one too. So, what do you think?
It's either, I don't know. It's like I want to go with the Finns, but it's like it's all the matter of like keeping Tua on his feet. Because the Finns, they've proven that they can win this division. You know, it always, really comes down like towards the end of the season. Like they make some, dumb mistakes, or they lose some big games. Like within the division. I know I'm gonna go with the Miami Dolphins to win the division. I'm gonna go with them because I'm gonna die on that hill here. Okay, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins to win the division. And then second, what's that?
I mean, it's interesting because when you look at the Dolphins, right? I mean, you got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill coming back. Didn't
they get OBJ?
Oh, they did grab Odell. I forgot about that. He's out for the first 4 weeks of the season, but yeah, they did get him.
It'll be interesting what OBJ we get. Like if we're gonna get this really good OBJ, or if it's like we're gonna kind of get a mediocre one.
I think, and going back to the hill I like to die on, I feel like with OBJ, because of the role he's going to play in that offense, he's going to do better than even he did for the Ravens. Because, I mean, think about it. Like, I don't want to say he was supposed to be the guy for the Ravens, but there was some heavy expectations for Odell Beckham at his age after his injuries as well to come in and really take the Ravens passing offense to a whole nother level. And I mean, to be honest, he didn't, right? He just wasn't the right fit. But I think in this offense, I mean, you're looking at Tyreek Hill, you're looking at Jalen Waddle, you got to pay attention to them off of speed alone, right? If they weren't good receivers just based off of speed, you'd have to pay attention to them. Luckily for y'all, they're also good receivers too. They're Pro Bowl receivers. So because of that, we're talking about Pro Bowl receivers, talking about all pros right here, right? I think eventually Braxton Berrios is the wide receiver 3 right now, but eventually Odell will be the wide receiver 3. And I think because of that, because of the speed on the outside, and not to mention the speed with A-Chain whenever they get ready to unleash him again. I mean, this offense is gonna be brutal again. I wonder about their offensive line losing guys like Robert Hunt to the Panthers. I wonder about that. I wonder how good their offensive line is going to be because their offensive line has been up and down, kind of been a question mark for a while. But it makes you wonder, like if the offensive line's not good, then I think we change our tone on how good this offense can be. But that's just really going to depend. But back to your picks on this division.
Yeah, so I got Miami number 1. Number 2, I got the New York Jets. Number 3, I got the Buffalo Bills, and 4, I got the New England Patriots.
Okay. All right, let's jump into the NFC. The NFC East. The NFC East. The NFC
America's
East.
favorite division.
The NFC East. So of course we got the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Washington Commanders. Honestly, I think this division gonna kind of be a dogfight. Because the Cowboys can find a way to get in their own way. We know the Giants can get in their own way. We know Washington does a pretty good job of getting in their own way. And we know Philly, for whatever reason, last year they've found a way to get in their own way. I think Philly rises back to the top, right? I think the Commanders look good with Jalen Daniels. I just don't think they look ready with Jalen Daniels. I think the Commanders stay right where they're at in 4th place. I think you put the Eagles at the top. Let's fill in these middle 2 spots. I think to say this, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I have to admit my wrongs right now.
Surprised they didn't put New York at the top. You know, your boy Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes.
I have to admit my wrongs. I think the Danny Dimes experiment, at least for the New York Giants, is over. I don't think they believe in him. And sometimes I think he doesn't believe in himself. So I think the Giants are going to be in third place. I think the Eagles are going to be in. The Eagles, but the Cowboys are going to be in second. They're going to be fighting with the Eagles, but I think the Eagles are going to find their way to just be better than the Cowboys, to not get in their own way. So, what you think?
Yeah, I see Eagles being number one. You know, they're gonna have a great season. The Cowboys, you know, they're gonna be second. Cowboys. I mean, they're gonna make the playoffs, but you know they're gonna do what they usually do in the playoffs. They're gonna choke, you know, like they always do, you know. And Cowboys fans, you can come after me. All your fans, all them Cowboy fans are delusional over there. And then we got New York is gonna be number 3, and then Washington is gonna be number 4.
Okay, I think this one's interesting, right?
Oh,
the NFC North. Chicago, Detroit, Green Bay, and Minnesota. The reason I think is interesting because Chicago, with the talent that they have, could be really good. It just depends on if Caleb Williams has a CJ Stroud type season, expect this team to be heavy in the playoffs, right? A tough out in the playoffs. Now, if he doesn't, then you know we think about some other things, but I think, I don't know. It's something about Detroit. I don't know why I don't want to trust them, but I don't trust them. It's something about Detroit I just don't trust, right? I trust Green Bay more than I trust Detroit right now. I might even trust Chicago. I'm going to say Green Bay, Chicago, Detroit, Minnesota. Simply because, number one, this thing about it, Minnesota don't have a quarterback right now. They're in struggle territory right now. Like just like they were last year when Kirk Cousins got hurt. So I think that's how that goes. So, Justin, what you think?
Yeah, I believe it's going to be Green Bay. I believe that they're going to be number 1, and number 2 is going to be Chicago. I think Chicago, you know, they got some weapons over there. You know, like you said, with Caleb. You know, it's going to be interesting. You know, if he can have a ball out year like CJ Stroud, that'd be amazing. I believe that Detroit's going to be number 3, and then Minnesota's going to be in last. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's look again. I'm gonna skip the South, and I'm gonna come back to the South. All right. So the NFC West. The NFC West. We got the Cardinals, the Rams, the Niners, and the Seattle. I'm gonna let you go first on this one.
Okay, so obviously, you know, San Francisco, you know, that they were in the Super Bowl last year. I believe that they're not going to have that Super Bowl hangover. Okay, they're not going to have that. They're going to be they're going to be hungrier than ever. I believe that San Francisco is going to be number 1. I believe that Arizona. I don't know. I believe Arizona could probably be last place here. It's not saying that they're really bad. I believe they're going to be last. It's Seattle. I mean, they're kind of a sleeper team. I don't think they're going to be as bad as people think they're going to be. I think they're going to be kind of, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to have to put San Francisco number 1. I'm going to put Seattle number 2, Los Angeles 3, and Arizona 4. What about you, DJ?
This one's tough because I feel like with, I don't know. This one's kind of tough. This division is tough because
this is gonna be a dogfight in this division.
It is, man. Like, because the Cardinals, you just don't know what to expect from them. I think that's the hard part about the Cardinals.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are falling off the last couple seasons, and you just don't know, you know. So a lot of it's been injuries. But you put Kyler Murray with Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. has shown time and time again he's that guy, okay? But I don't think they're going to have enough. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. alone is not going to be enough because I don't know if I trust Greg Dortch or Michael Wilson. All right, like I just don't know. I think that's going to be the tough part. I think they have the potential to be really good, and I think because of Marvin Harrison Jr., we think, maybe maybe they'll find their way, but I don't. No, I think I agree with you that they'll end up in last place for the simple fact of I didn't think at first. I didn't think this. I really didn't. I thought. I don't know. I didn't feel like that was how it was going to be. But now that we think about it, I do. I feel like, I feel like their talent is less than than the rest of the division. I wonder about the Seahawks. Rookie head coach and Mike McDonald. I wonder about them because I just wonder how long Geno Smith can just be consistent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me wonder too, does Geno Smith put you over the top? Like, I know Brock Purdy got all the criticism last year, but does Geno Smith really put you over the top? Right. That's why I think they're going to be in second. I think they're going to be in second place. Not second place, but third place, I mean. And then honestly, I think the Rams are going to find their way back at the top again. I think last year, the Rams showed that regardless, they're still really good. They're still, as long as they're healthy, they're really good. And I think they're going to show once again that they're still really good. I think the 49ers are going to, the 49ers are going to still be really good. I think, those two could flip, but I think they could flip because I think the 49ers got at least one more really good year in them where they're like NFC Championship, possible Super Bowl type bound. I think they got one more year left in it because, I mean, let's think about it, depending on how Brock Purdy plays this season, they're going to have to pay him within the next couple of seasons. They already have paid Brandon Ayuk, and they can't keep Debo and Ayuk on the same. It's not going to happen. It's the Jamar Chase, T. Higgins thing. It's not going to happen. So they're going to have to, they already paid Ayuk. And honestly, I think Deebo Samuel was the better receiver out of both of them. But that's just me. So that's another part of it too. So I think the Niners are going to end up being in second place. That's just how I feel. All right, to the NFC South. We got the Atlanta Falcons, the Carolina Panthers, the New Orleans Saints, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Another one of these divisions that I think is just going to be a dogfight. I think it could go either way. I think you got the consistency of Kirk Cousins for the Falcons, and that's about it. That's about the only consistent thing you got in this division, right? Like, you don't know if the Buccaneers are going to do the same thing they did last year. They lost their offensive coordinator, so that means a new offense, and that might hinder their offense a little bit. They did keep Mike Evans, so that helps a little bit, but we'll see. The Saints probably continue to be the most talented team out of this division, and they continue to wet the bed every time. The Panthers, you can't go anywhere but up at this point, right? You really can't. You can't go anywhere but up. I know I'm being a homer here, but you can't go you can't go anywhere but up. So I think with the Panthers, I think they have to improve, right? If it's 5 wins, if it's 7 wins, they have to improve. And I think they will. I think this offensive line being better is going to be a thing. I think the running back position is going to flourish because the offensive line is better. And I think the defense is not going to be put in horrible situations because the offensive line is better. I think Bryce Young plays much better because the offensive line is better. All right. I think Atlanta wins this division because it's Kirk Cousins, man. It's Kirk Cousins. That man, he's going to be consistent. He's going to at least be consistent in the regular season. And I think that's going to be the tough part of it. I want to put Tampa Bay at 2. I really do. But something's telling me, even though I live in the same city where there's a lot of pessimism about the Carolina Panthers right now, something telling me second place is just feeling oh so good, okay? So I'm going to go Carolina Panthers in the second position right here. Did it get a wild card? Maybe. I don't know. Just a better season than they had last year. And I think, like, just not far behind, but I think Tampa Bay, and not far behind, I think the Saints. I think it's just going to be a complete and utter fight to the very, very end, is how I'm feeling. What do you think about the NFC South?
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. Like this is gonna be a fight till the end. Like all these teams are just gonna beat up on each other this whole season. But I believe Atlanta's gonna be number 1, Tampa Bay number 2, Carolina. I believe that they're gonna be number 3, and then number 4 is gonna be the New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I got one more thing. I know I sound like the preacher that won't shut up, but I got one more thing. All right, I do. I got one more thing. I just want to share this. I want to share this with Justin. I just want to see what he thinks. All right, I just want to see what he thinks. So, the NFL released these floor ceiling videos, and I mean, I might talk about the Ravens in another one, maybe. I don't know. This has been. I might get a chance to talk about the Ravens in this one, but they've been releasing these floor ceiling videos where of course the floor is like, this is the least amount we feel like plausibly that you would win, and the ceiling is if you really hitting on all cylinders, yeah, this is what you're gonna do. And they did it with all 32 teams, and of course they did it with our good friends, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm gonna have to move us out of the way here so y'all can see what's going on, but let's try. Oh, I'm on this side. Oh, never mind. All right, so let's try. Nope, that's just me. All right, let's try that. All right, that works.
There we
Even
go.
better. So, all right, so I'm gonna play the video just so you guys can see what's going on. So they're saying the Chiefs' floor is. Let's look here. They're saying the Chiefs' floor is. Oh, let it play. All right, so 10-7, right? They're saying the Chiefs' floor is 10-7. So what's that? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. All right. So they're saying the Chief floor is. Why did I go back? The Chief floor is they lose week 1 and week 2, Justin. All right. They lose week 1 and week 2 to the Ravens and the Bengals. And then they lose. They beat the Falcons. They lose to the Chargers, which I don't think that they're going to split against the Chargers. But okay.
Yeah, no.
Not this iteration of the Chargers. They beat the Saints, lose to the Niners, beat the Raiders, beat the Buccaneers, beat the Denver Broncos, lose to the Bills. I don't think that's happening either. Not this iteration of the Bills. And I know these didn't come out that long ago, by the way, either. So these are pretty spot on. And then pretty spot on to the current rosters and stuff. They beat the Panthers. We'll see. Let me stop. And then they beat the Raiders, beat the Chargers, beat the Broncos, and then in between that, they would lose to the Browns, the Texans, and the Steelers. What do you think about the floor? What do you think? 10-7. How happy would you be at a 10-7 floor?
I would not be happy with a 10-7 because
I mean, I feel like 10-7. That's like what? That's wild card area, maybe.
Yeah, that's wild card area. We're better than wild card area. Like we're a lot better than that. Of course, I want to be at the top of the conference, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe. Okay, so I could definitely possibly see us losing to the Ravens. Like I said, it's week 1, but we're not going to lose to the Bengals. Okay, we're not losing to the Bengals. So we could. Okay, so right here we could be 1-1. Okay, with those first 2 games.
Okay.
And then right here, I believe. So yes, we're gonna beat the Falcons, so we'll be 2-1. Okay, that's how it goes. We're not gonna lose to the Chargers. We're gonna beat the Chargers. So at this point, we'll be 3-1. Okay, and then we'll beat the Saints. So at this point, then we'll be 4-1 going into the bye.
Y'all win the bye.
Okay, we win the bye. We win the bye. That's how it goes. I don't know if this is in San Francisco. I think it might be. Okay, well, we'll say we lose to San Francisco. Okay, that's a revenge game. We'll give it to San Francisco there. So 4-2. Okay, is that we're looking at right now? Yeah, and then we beat the Raiders 5-2.
I'm curious to see how close you get to the ceiling that they have.
We beat the Bucks 6-2.
Okay.
We beat the Broncos 7-2.
Okay.
The Bills, we were gonna beat them. We're gonna be 8-2.
Mm-hmm.
Then we beat the we beat the Carolina Panthers.
No, y'all won't.
9-2. Okay. then we're gonna beat the Raiders. Yes, I believe we're gonna beat them again. Wait, did we already? Oh, yeah, we're gonna beat the Raiders again. Yeah,
That's a
so
sweepy.
that's gonna be 10-2. Then we're gonna beat the Chargers again. Okay, we're gonna sweep them. So that what we at 11-2.
Okay, that's 11. Okay. What y'all doing about the Browns now? Nick Chubb might be back
Browns.
by this time.
I could potentially see a loss here. I don't know. It's like depending on what Browns we get. I don't know. I'm gonna say we beat them here. Okay, I'm gonna say we beat them. So that'll be 11. No, 12. Am I at 12 right now? Yeah, I think,
I think so. That sounds
12-2. And then I believe we lose to the Texans here because I'm starting to believe in that. See, depending on what type of season CJ Stroud has, I could see. Okay, so 12-3. Yeah, we'll say 12-3 right here.
Okay.
We beat the Steelers 13-3.
Mm-hmm.
And then we beat the Broncos 14-3.
Okay.
All right. Does that equal 17? Is it 17 games? Yeah.
Yeah, that's 14-3. Yeah, let's see what they said. I feel like I don't know. When I took a peek earlier, I feel like that's what it said. So they're saying, they said 15-2. So they're saying you're gonna start off beating the Ravens and the Bengals. This is for our listening audience. You're gonna start off 3-0. Ravens, Bengals, Falcons. Lose to the Chargers. I don't know why they love that so much, but okay. I mean, I guess they're just saying division games. You just never know. You beat the Saints, lose to the Niners, beat the Raiders, Bucks, Broncos. Good day. That's a darn run right there. You beat the Raiders, Bucks, Broncos, Bills, Panthers, Raiders again, Chargers again, Browns, Texans, Steelers, and the doggone Broncos. Goodness, that would be 11 straight wins to end the season. That's crazy right there. That's crazy right there. All right, I'm gonna bring us both in. You know what? Let's have a little fun and let's do as we wrap up. Let's do the Ravens floor ceiling thing real quick, and then I'm gonna get out of here just in case I don't see y'all again before Thursday. I hope I do because I will definitely bring this back up. But let's look and see what the Ravens got going on. As this other video plays in the background, let's look and see what the Ravens got going on in the floor and the ceiling. I watched this before, so I know what it is, but it's been a while, so I've kind of forgotten. Don't tell nobody. All right, so let's jump into the Ravens floor ceiling here. All right, so the floor is we lose to the Chiefs week 1. Let me make sure that this is accurate. I'm gonna pull the record up first. All right, so they say 9-8. So that's worse than y'all, right? Because y'all was 10-7.
Yeah, we were 10-7. Yeah.
All right. So they say 9-8. So they say we lose to the Chiefs coming up on Thursday, which ain't gonna happen. And then we beat the Raiders, lose to the Cowboys, beat the Bills, lose to the Bengals, beat the Commanders, beat the Bucks, lose to the Browns. Dang, they really playing off this division, ain't they? Beat the Broncos, beat the Bengals, lose to the Steelers, lose to the Chargers. I don't know why they love the doggone Chargers so much. Lose to the Eagles. Ooh. Then the bye. I mean, the way we going, we're going to lose that too. Beat the
refs
Giants.
are going to win that.
Right. Beat the Giants, beat the Steelers, lose to the Texans, and beat the Browns. So, in my honest opinion, all right, this is me,
You're going 17-0
on the fly with y'all. All right, so I think we beat the Chiefs. That's 1-0. We beat the Raiders. That's 2-0. We beat the Cowboys. That's 3-0. We beat the Bills. That's 4-0. We're gonna beat the Bengals the first time because we always beat the Bengals the first time. The Bengals are always flat the first time. So that's 5-0. And then you're gonna
lose to Washington.
we might that might be the one where we lay the egg. I think we beat Washington. I think we beat this how I'm gonna say it. I think we beat Washington. So that's what 6-0.
Yeah.
We beat Washington. That's 6-0. We beat Tampa Bay. That's 7-0. But I think we lose to the Browns the first time just because we going on this crazy run at this time. So we lose to the Browns. So that stays. So that's 7-1. We beat the Broncos. That's 8-1. I think we lose to the Bengals this time. That's 8-2. Because we always end up splitting with the Bengals. So that's 8-2. I think the Steelers. I mean, it's about time we sweep them doggone Steelers. But let's just say we're gonna lose to the Steelers because we always freaking split with the doggone Steelers every single year. So we lose to the Steelers. I done lost count. I think I'm at.
I think 8-3.
Am I 8-3?
Yeah, because you said because you guys will lose to the Wait, no, do you guys beat the Brown? No, you guys will lose to the Browns. You guys lose to the Bengals, and then lose to the Steelers. So yeah, it's 8-3.
Okay, so we had 8-3, and then I think we beat the Chargers because we always tend to beat the Chargers. Even in the Hardball, we tend to beat the Chargers.
Okay.
So that's 9-3. I think we beat the Eagles. I think it's tough, but I think we beat the Eagles. That's 10-3. We beat the Giants. That's 11-3. We beat the Steelers the second time. That's 12-3. I think the Texans will be tough. But we usually end the season pretty well. So I'm gonna say we beat the Texans. So what is that? 11-3.
11-3. That'd be 12-3.
12-3. All right, 12-3. I think we end up at 12-4, which still is not the right math because it's not
that. Yeah, our math ain't mathing right now.
Our math is not mathing.
We're doing Steiner math over here.
I missed the game somewhere, but y'all get what I'm saying. I think they'll figure it out. Let me look at the ceiling and maybe it'll clear up what I'm trying to say because I'm probably at the same accord. But I mean I really think looking at this, I think we lose to. I think it's possible to lose to the Eagles because I think the Eagles are just tough. I think it's possible to lose to the Texans, but I think playing the Texans that late, typically the Ravens are clicking that late. So I think that those last 4 games should be wins. I think. I don't know. It's a little tough because I think the division too. I think the division makes you think a little bit. It makes you pause a little bit because typically you split with the division. So, we'll definitely see. All right. So the ceiling. Let's hop into the ceiling. What they think for the ceiling? No,
we're gonna hop into the ceiling.
We're gonna hop into the ceiling. Don't question my math or my logic on that. But they're saying 13-4, which I think is what I was trying to say. I think I was going for 14-3. Because let me make sure they did they did all of that. All right. So yeah. So 2, 3. Oh wait, I thought they said 4. 1, 2. Okay, they got 4 right there. All right. So I think I said 14-3. I mean, I think I said I said what I said because we would beat the Chiefs week 1. I think that's right. Like if I'm confusing, let me know. But we would beat the Chiefs week 1 and everything else would go as it did, right? Yeah. Give or take. Like, I mean, I think I said we would split with the Browns or split with the Steelers, and this has got us sweeping the Steelers. So that's part of it too. So I mean, even if you swap beating the Chiefs for splitting with the Steelers, then there you go. Like I said, I really don't see the Ravens losing the first Bengals game. They rarely ever lose the first Bengals game. They lose the second Bengals game if they're gonna lose one. But I mean, honestly, I think this looks pretty good because I think as I wrap up my thoughts on the ceiling, I think the Chiefs could be winnable. The Raiders are definitely winnable. I think the Cowboys are winnable too. I think the Ravens' history against the Cowboys shows that it's winnable. Mm-hmm. I don't think the Bills are as good as we think they are. I don't think the Bengals are going to be. I think the Bengals will be good. I don't think they're going to be back. I think they'll be good. Washington will be a tough game, but I think that should be winnable. Tampa Bay should be winnable. The Browns should be winnable both times, but we know how the Ravens and the Browns do. The Broncos should be winnable. Once again, the Bengals, we'll see. The Chargers should be winnable. Definitely should be winnable. And the Ravens got a good history against the Chargers. The Eagles is tough, but winnable. But it is one of those kind of toss-up games, I think. Especially because, with the Jason Kelce effect too, how is their offensive line? Because you can lose one piece of your offensive line and it can completely destroy it. So
it's like a domino effect.
Yeah, there's that too. The Giants, and I didn't even think about that when I was making the NFC East standings, but The Giants definitely winnable. The Texans, we've seen that the Ravens can beat them, but it's a tough game, especially if they play the same way they played last year. And then in the season with the Browns, I mean, I think by that point, I think the Ravens will be clicking. So we'll see. I think that made sense. At least in my language, it made sense. So let us know what you guys think about that floor ceiling thing. I want to know real quick, Justin, did you have any thoughts on the Ravens floor ceiling at all? Because I think I gave thoughts on the Chiefs.
Yeah, you did give thoughts on my Chiefs one. Yeah, I think that looks pretty accurate. I mean, the only you said it shows you guys could beat the Eagles. I don't that game could go either way.
Yeah,
and I don't think you guys lose to the Cowboys. I definitely think you guys beat the Cowboys there.
I think part of that is it being in Dallas.
Is it in Dallas?
I think that's a part of that too.
What else on there? Yeah, it looks pretty accurate to me. But
I mean, like I said, I think it looks pretty accurate. I think, like I said, I think we definitely beat the Cowboys, but I think the Eagles is more of a toss up than the Cowboys is.
Honestly. Yeah, the Eagles are more of a toss up than the Cowboys.
The Giants, for whatever reason, have had our number lately. I think they mad about the Super Bowl. So that's that part, but.
And the Texans, that's a question mark too. There,
I think the Texans is a question mark, but kind of like I said before, I feel like the Ravens, similar to the Chiefs, are always clicking at the end of the season. Like at the end of the season, they're going. They don't, rarely ever do they lose games at the end of the season, no matter how tough they are. I mean, the stretch last year was ridiculous. I mean, you talking about Miami, you talking about San Francisco, you talking about a couple of games in the division that you got to finish off too. The Ravens, for whatever reason, at the end of the season, they are clicking. Now, it may not reflect in the playoffs all the time, but at the end of the season, they're clicking to the point where a lot of times they end up not playing the last game, at least for the starters. And then it sometimes has you questioning, should you or shouldn't you, right? So I don't know. Mm-hmm. But anything else, Justin, before we get out of here?
Nah, that was all good for me.
All right. I definitely hope you guys enjoyed the show, the first episode of the Be More Show. I went a little long. I got a little long-winded today. It happens from time to time. Sometimes. Don't tell my fiance. She'll say all the time. Every so often, I get a little long-winded. Okay. But it was a lot of fun.
It's all the time.
It was a lot of fun. Justin, appreciate you for coming by. As always, it's always a good time. And make sure to check this guy out on the For the Kingdom podcast. And also Juggernaut 097 as well. Are you is it on the Juggernaut 097 channel?
Yeah, it's on the Juggernaut 097 channel. I'm just going to be making like a playlist of like the For the Kingdom podcast episodes, and because I go like, should I make a second channel? I go like, nah, I'm just gonna make like a separate playlist and keep it on one channel.
Yeah, I agree. I think this first game of the season is gonna be fun, but I gotta tell you, Justin, the Ravens gonna win, man. That's gotta take. It's gotta show. Ravens are going.
This is the revenge game, after what happened in the AFC Championship. It's a revenge game here.
I mean, and typically I feel like also like when you get those like revenge regular season games, typically the team that lost in the playoffs wins in the regular season. That's usually how it goes. Now if they play again,
it's just like wrestling logic, that's how it goes.
That's what it is. It's wrestling logic, obviously. But definitely hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Also, go like my Facebook page because I'm gonna have to go bother my family and friends until I can go live on my actual Be More Show Facebook page. I think it's still Fly Nation Speaks until they approve my name change. But be sure to like that page as well. So I can go live on there and not bother all my Facebook friends. But until then, I'm gonna bother all my Facebook friends. But definitely hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll see you guys on the next episode of the Be More Show.
We got 3 sleeps until football season.